Welcome to Scorched and a general reading for the sign of Pisces, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the month of December. I hope you're all well. Using the Shadowscapes, obviously, because that's the one that always seems to be needed for you. I'm going to wait until the cauldron's burned down a little bit, and then I'm going to close the window because I know the traffic sometimes gets on people's nerves, but you know, I've got to let the smoke out somehow. So let's have a look and see what's going on with you, Pisces. Could I have 3 cards for Pisces, please? There's the first one. The Ten of Pentacles in your recent past. In your current energy, we have Strength. Card of Leo in the Major Arcana. Somewhat of a constant companion for you now, I feel. And what's coming towards Pisces, please? Whoa. The Hermit. Interesting. So at the bottom of the deck we've got the Page of Pentacles, and I'm delighted to see that. It's a card that indicates to me a new start in the 3D, like taking a new path, understanding the value of something, right? And moving forwards with that, you know, front and center in your mind. See which deck wants to clarify. Just mixed up a load of cards there. I'm going to go with the John Bauer to clarify. And why is the Ten of Pentacles here, please? Why is the Ten of Pentacles here for Pisces? We have the Hierophant, card of Taurus in the Major Arcana. Pentacles, please. Ooh, 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 ooh. We have the Page of Cups and the Knight of Cups. Beautiful. So, why is Strength here, please, for Pisces? Got Temperance. Beautiful. And the Two of Wands. Interesting. We only really need Aries, and we've completed the Triumvirate. Right. Tell me about the Hermit. Where's the Hermit here? Ooh. 4 of Pentacles and 5 of Wands. Don't be concerned, we'll get into that. We've got the Page of Wands at the bottom of the deck here. That's 3 pages that you've got, indicating new starts in a lot of aspects of your life. And the Ten of Pentacles is underneath that too, which is very, very interesting. So, the first card that you have is that Ten of Pentacles there. Sometimes we can see this indicate business, sometimes we can see it indicate, you know, family, established things often, because you don't get 10 pentacles without putting a significant amount of effort into something. But it does also talk about commitment, and I feel like commitment is the interpretation that I want to go with here for you, Pisces. You have committed to something. I wish I could remember what the content of your previous videos was. I do this every month. I should go back and look, because I can't remember. But you have committed to something. And it could be a person, it could be a situation, it could be the place that you live. Maybe you've been having somewhat of a nomadic lifestyle and you've settled down somewhere. Now you're determined to put down roots. Or it could be something a bit broader and a bit more esoteric. It could be you committing to being here, Pisces. Like, this is something that's come up again and again for your readings over the course of this year, this difficulty in settling down to the 3D, and and almost accepting that you have to be here. I empathise. I too have homesickness. I too want to go do something else, but for whatever reason I've chosen to be here at this time, and so have you. And it feels like that acceptance has settled now, because we've got the Hierophant directly underneath. And that is an earth element card, just like the Ten of Pentacles is. Like I said, it deals specifically with Taurus, and it could be that there was a Taurus that was somewhat significant in you choosing to make that decision for yourself. But it also talks about things being settled. It can talk about hierarchy, but I quite like the John Bauer deck in the way that it depicts things, and it feels more like the putting down of roots here. Okay. It's not the big old creaky Catholicism kind of influenced card that we're used to seeing in the standard decks. It's something a bit more natural than that. It is something actually earthy rather than, you know, a creation of man. It is a commitment to being here. We've got these two cards here though, the Page of Cups and the Knight of Cups, and this I really like. Like I said, it's one of 3 pages that appears for you. We've got the Page of Pentacles, the Page of Wands, and the Page of Cups. The only one that is missing, obviously, is the Page of Swords, and this is that one specifically I associate with new ways of thinking about things, right? Expanding your thinking. Now, expansion of seeing the way that the world operates is not something that is usually that applicable to a Pisces, because you are so very expansive in that regard. But like I said, the Page of Pentacles speaks to a new start, a new beginning in the 3D. The Page of Wands, an increasing level of excitement about implementing that. And if we look at the shadow cards there, we had that 10 of Pentacles, an excitement about the journey through the 3D that you now find yourself on. And then we have this. Now, this card here, I always associate with Pisces. It doesn't actually have the strict astrological correspondence that the Knight of Cups does, which is your card as well. But it always feels like a Piscean card to me. And this is a progression. So we've got you here, but we've got this card that I associate with you, which is kind of like small messages of love in some way. So I sometimes see it as an apology. Other times I see it as beginning the act of forgiveness and compassion toward both yourself and to other people, right? So this is you experiencing it within you, and then this is you going out into the world, heart-centered, heart-led, you know, cup first. In wonder, I feel with this card somewhat. This character here, rather than kind of obsessively focusing on his cup, which is what we usually see with the Knight of Cups, and often I feel like that depiction is a bit of a triumph of style over substance. This one, he sat on the back of a very powerful looking horse, staring at the sky. You know? It's wondrous. I love it. I want to pull another card for that. It feels like a very grounded and centered energy, which is not something I would ever thought I would ever say for Pisces, but think about this. Any other messages for this set of cards? 2. Wow. Yeah. Like, here you are, showing up incredibly authentically in your own reading. It's the Hanged Man, the card of Pisces, but it's twinned with the King of Wands. This is a submission to the here and the now. This is a submission to living in this realm, this reality, whatever you want to call it. You have chosen to do it. You've lent into the discomfort, and it is uncomfortable for a Pisces, but you've owned it. You've taken ownership rather than it being something that is inflicted upon you. This is something that you are actively choosing. And I feel like shades of this message may have come out for you in previous readings, like maybe the last couple, I'm not sure. It feels like you're taking ownership of your power so that you are able to start influencing things around you rather than just absorbing the things around you. So then we come to your present energy and we have strength. Like I said, the Leo cards have been somewhat of a constant companion for you throughout this year. I think I noticed months ago that there was always strength or the sun or both showing up in every single reading. Like, this Leo element in your life is really, really important. But even if it's not a Leo, it's speaking to you, you know. Oh, that's fascinating. I've just noticed that, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but this dude here is staring at the sky. There's actually a flock of geese up at the top there, and that's what he's looking at. It's like just staring in wonder at the geese. And there are birds similarly at the top of this one here. The Strength card talks to me about soul growth. It talks to me about surviving difficult circumstances and becoming stronger as a result. You know, it's not about being able to wrestle lions. It's about being able to gently influence them to do your bidding, right? Not because you force them, but because they want to. It feels actually educational That's it feels like you're teaching people now. Now, whether you realize it or not, you've always influenced people, because people are always a little bit like agog at the way that Pisces can feel emotion and understand intuitively what is going on with people. Right? People are all kind of awestruck. If they understand your power, even the tiniest little bit, then they should be absolutely awestruck by it. Some of them probably aren't, but they're probably very closed people, and they're not really people you can do anything with. But it feels like you are moving into a role, a very empowered role, of being able to gently influence people by showing them a way of doing things better. Does that make sense? It's clarified by Leo's sister fire sign, Sagittarius card of Temperance, and this has a similar kind of meaning in that regard, in so much as it talks about surviving difficult circumstances and then transmuting that pain through healing into something that can be taken out into the world and influence other people. That's what it feels like, a teaching component to this somewhere. We notice in this card, that dude there is completely submersed in the water. He's only visible from here up, It's about being at one with your emotions. This Two of Wands, which came out with it, is quite interesting to me, because that is a crossroads energy. And I want to get a little bit more information about that. Do I want to use... No, I will use the Triple Goddess. Tell me a little bit more about this Two of Wands, please. Ooh. I'll take this one. We've got the Two of Cups. I'm not going to take all of those, because that's like 6 of them came out there. Tell me about the Two of Wands, please. Ooh, 6 of Cups. Wow. Okay. At the bottom of the deck, we've got the Two of Wands again. 2 of Wands here, 2 of Wands here. It's followed by the 10 of Wands and the Death card. This particular depiction of the 10 of Wands I like, because it's the only one that I've got that shows someone putting the fucking burden down, realizing where things are too hard and going, there, this is enough, right? Like, I'm relieving myself of this burden now. And underneath that, we've got Death. That's your sister's water sign of Scorpio. It talks about complete transformation. And yeah, like, there you are underneath that now with the Knight of Cups. It feels like standing on the precipice of something, if I'm honest. Like there's a crossroads in front of you, perhaps. But I'm not even sure that you know that it's there. We've got the Two of Wands, the Two of Wands, the Two of Cups. These are all cards of internal processes, right? Two of Cups is finding someone who aligns with your internal process and kind of coming together through shared goals or shared values, whatever it is. But we've got 3 cards here, which in combination with each other, in fact, to be honest, any 2 of those together, I would associate with soulmate relationships. Very, very strong soulmate relationships, past life relationships, sort of come into the fore. Now, it could be that some of you are needing to make decisions about, close soulmate relationships that you've got at the moment. Perhaps there is an element of letting some of them go. Perhaps there is some transformation of those required. Or perhaps you're gliding into one. It's not entirely obvious. But then we have this card of communication here, which is interesting. Ooh, what sign was it? Now, this is very interesting because there are now starting to appear parallels with the Taurus video that I did yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before, something like that? In that video, there was the resurfacing of a water sign, and Pisces and Scorpio were the 2 signs that came out specifically within that. And it was a relationship that had a very close emotional tie. It didn't necessarily have to be a romantic relationship, just one where there was a lot of emotion attached to it. And now I see in your reading a notion of very, very strong soul contracts here. And communication. let's go a little bit deeper with this and find out what this is about. Some more information about soulmate relationship, please. Oh, yeah. Well, for some of you, this Taurian aspect may well be on point, because we've got the Four of Pentacles, the Five of Cups, and the Seven of Wands. The Four of Pentacles speaks to me about a need to release something, right? When it turns up in its upright, that is, it means that. When it's in the reverse, it means, you know, releasing or having released these things. While we're in this energy of the upright, it's that needing to happen. The Five of Cups is very, very difficult emotional energy. It's sometimes resentment, it's bitterness, it's isolation. It's feeling like you've been abandoned and that you are unable to see the way forwards, you know, without what you've lost. And the Seven of Wands is a defensive, guarded energy. Now, it may not be a Taurus necessarily that you're dealing with, but I can't ignore the fact that these the reading seems to be mirroring each other just slightly. Let's pull this all together. Why is the Two of Wands here, please? Oh, shit. If that card is what I think it is, I'm going to absolutely lose my shit. I've lost it. Where's it gone? It is. It's the Hierophant. It's the card of Taurus in the Major Arcana. Remember, this can be Sun, Moon, or Ascendant. If this is not a person, if this is not a Taurus, then this is speaking about an established situation which may have soulmates involved in it somewhere. But remember, the point of soulmates is that you know, it's these people who come and teach you things. It doesn't necessarily mean it's the person that, you know, is going to love you the best your entire life. It's the one who teach you the sharpest lesson. It could be a person. Could be a Taurus. It could be a situation that you find yourself in, because the other thing that the Hierophant speaks about is society in general, or any kind of established hierarchical, you know, institution, higher education, the church, university. Oh, that's higher education. Yeah, schools, that kind of thing, right? There is, it would appear, communication occurring or about to occur, and you are at a crossroads because you need to decide whether to allow this to continue or whether to shut it down. My instinct for you, before I've even got to the future cards here, is that perhaps shutting this down is a good idea, and that holds true whether this is a Taurus, or whether this is a situation, or whether this is where you find yourself culturally at the moment, because that's entirely possible too. I'm quite cultural about the Hierophant. You know, maybe you are in quite a restrictive culture and you're like, no, I'm not about this life. I need to drift away and do something else. This is fascinating. These two fire element cards here, though, they work very, very nicely with this King of Wands that's in your recent past. They're all very complementary energies. You have grown, you are empowered, and you are healing beautifully. And now here is this other situation coming along. Not to test, I really hate this notion of testing, but, you know, testing the integrity of what it is that you've been building here. To wit, it is not a pass or fail test. It's an opportunity to shore up and secure what it is that you know, what it is that you hold to be important. I hope that makes sense. So, what's coming towards you is this Virgo energy of the Hermit in December. Now, it could be a Virgo. I honestly don't think it necessarily is. Like, it feels energetic to me. It feels like a withdrawal of sorts by you, going inside to consider all of the information that you are working with at the moment and make the right decision for you. Because all of the answers are within you. You know that. You're very... I don't have to tell Pisces about going inside and exploring their internal space. The thing that is different this time for you is the level of empowerment. Because of what you've gone through this year, like, you have got very, very much stronger than you ever have been. And I think that this will be a surprise to the person that you're dealing with. The two cards that came out to clarify, if you remember, I was a bit like, oh, what's that about? Four of Pentacles and the Five of Wands. The Four of Pentacles is the need to release. It's just come out over here as well. But the Five of Wands is about conflict. It's about confrontation. It's about fighting, right? Whether petty fighting or otherwise. It seems like in the month of December, you're required to go within and see if actually this situation, which in some way seems to threaten your peace, your internal peace, is worth holding on to, or whether it's time to let it go finally. Four of Pentacles. Yeah, so we've got the Four of Swords with the King of Swords, like taking a step back. The Four of Swords is my meditation card, but it also talks about moving back from a situation so that you can properly contemplate it. And it feels like that's what is coming towards you in December, the need to retreat from a situation until you work out exactly what it is that you feel about it and think about it. The Chariot. We've got the Chariot. Notice how it's got a lion on it here in this one. This is the card of Cancer. But it's all about you taking charge of yourself. It's about autonomy and independence and victory. And often, to be honest, moving forwards on your own. I notice here that we've got the Ace of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. It's the King of Cups underneath there. And then you, the High Priestess. It feels like you can't be pushed around in the way that you used to be. And it is okay for you to take a break. It is all right for you to step back and consider how you feel about something before you give an answer. And it seems like that's the energy that you're in December. If anybody demands an instant answer from you, it's because they don't want to give you that time to think about it, because they are quite afraid that you will come to that conclusion all by yourself. Yeah, the one that says, I don't want you or this situation in my life anymore. This is very, very interesting, Pisces. It's actually really rather positive too. I hope that I've expressed it well enough for you to see that, because this is an example of your empowerment in action. Just the act of saying, I'm not sure how I feel about this, I'm going to take a bit of time to think about it, is actually asserting yourself over the situation gently. Right? Now, do you remember just a few minutes back, I was talking about this feeling like you were teaching, just teaching the world by the way that you were being. I wonder if it is this situation that applies to. Because I think the way that you respond will be a surprise, ultimately, to whoever person or situation, whatever it is. They're not expecting it. And I think just by virtue of being you and showing up in this new empowered way, I think that you issue forth a lesson for someone else or something else, a number of people perhaps. Absolutely fascinating. So if this reading has resonated with you at all, there is a link down in the description box. It's the first link. If you open the description box and have a look, come over to Vimeo and we'll explore this a little bit further. If this is all you want, then that's absolutely fine too. I will be back in 2 weeks-ish for the mid-month readings. And know that I love you all very much. Take care. See you soon.